Welcome to the Holding Priority Podcast, the Magic the Gathering CDH podcast. I'm Cardboard Cryptid.
I'm the Gaming Ghost.
On today's episode, we'll discuss Dragons of Takir, the Storm, Commander Edition.
Yeah, a lot of cards in this set. I don't know. Let's see what happens.
We did the main set where we looked at 40 cards and we slimmed down to 40 cards. This one we're looking at 30 cards and we slimmed down to 30 cards. There's a lot of biggies in the set that aren't really CDH worthy for 6, so we kind of cut some of those out, but there's still some that are just really cool. If you guys have not seen the main set, it'll be the podcast before this. Really check it out. It's 2.5 hours, but it's worth it, I promise. We've gotten a lot of comments on that one.
Yeah, it gives you good heads up when you're going into your pre-release or just wanting to pick up certain cards.
Yeah, we tried to make sure that it would be ready by pre-release for you guys.
Which is today.
Yeah. Well, as of our recording today,
Yeah.
But they'll see it on the 14th or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
we broke the illusion.
it's an illusion.
Before we get into the commander stuff, let's go into the shuffle up. Lots and lots of new comments. Thank you guys so much. We've been seeing the YouTube grow quite a bit since we last put a call to action out. So if you were listening and you were like, I'm gonna help these guys out, thank you. We saw it. As for the comments on the Takir Dragonstorm main set, we got one from Alex Fabian 2974. Back again, says, I like the dragons. I do too.
Oh, yeah.
Wizard Whimsy back again. Did I miss the part where you guys talked about Runescale Stormbrood? That omen is spicy. 2 mana, counter target spell that's 2 or less. Shuffle it back into your deck to use again. Hit so many win cons. I feel this bad boy is a sleeper. Yeah, it was pretty cool. 2 for 2 is not great, but it is counter target spell, which is better than target counter non-creature spell. The thing that's cool about it is
It shuffles back in.
It shuffles back in, which in Commander is bad. Like, you kind of want to deck thin, really. But you can hold on to it, and it's a 2-cost counter if you need it, or it can be a nice big boy dragon if you don't need it.
Oh, really?
Which is pretty good. I think Wizard Whimsy is right about that. I don't know if I'm going to put it in any of my decks, but also, I just haven't been playing red lately. So I will say, there is a little bit of, I'll look at some of the cards and be like, I don't get it. And I'll be like, no, that actually is pretty good now that somebody Michael Murtha, 6146. Anyone else feeling NPR's The Delicious Dish vibes from the podcast? Yes, we do talk about sweaty balls and Christmas confections. We around Christmas we might have a ball episode that you guys can look forward to.
All cards viable in CEDH that are balls.
Yeah, it's a SNL skit. If you guys don't get the reference, I didn't know. I was like, NPR, that's a huge compliment, really. We sound that professional. And I watched the skit, I was like, oh, I know this skit. Still, they sound very professional, so thank you. All right, that is all of our new comments. Just a reminder, we do have our link tree on every video and podcast that has our TCG player link. If you're listening to this and you're picking cards up, or if you're just like, hey, these guys are cool, I'm going to pick up cards anyway, and I'd like to use their link, please do that. Free for you, helps us out a bunch. Lets TCG know that we're sending people over. We can use that to kind of go hey, maybe heavy play. You want to, throw us a $20 an episode, or stuff like that. It helps a lot. And again, completely free for you. I will say that there are some times that I'll be checking out with cards, and I'm just check out, and I'll go to pay, and I'm like, whoa. Let me use my link.
You gotta use the link.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I get how it can be missed, but I just bookmark it in my toolbar for TCG player, and then as long as I'm not Google searching and picking the cards out. I'm actually like clicking the link. It helps a lot.
Oh, okay.
And then, just a reminder, we do have social media, YouTube. We do have a Discord. That is in our link tree. If you guys click it, it's still pretty new. We've been doing some brews. There's a card that we'll go into that is in the episode, and we know about it because someone in the Discord was like, "Hey, I'm brewing this," and I looked it up, and I was like, "This looks really good." So I'm pretty excited, and I'm happy that someone in the Discord pointed out, because I honestly, like, whenever I saw it, I was just like, nah, this doesn't look good. And when I looked more into it, I was just like, I kind of want to build this. Like,
Also, when we're going through cards, to stop from having like a 5-hour
oh yeah,
podcast, we kind of slim them down a little. Try to hit really just the meat and kind of, let the fat on the side. But
yeah. There's a lot of times where, like, what I do is I open up every card that I think is interesting, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, okay, we got 50 cards. Like, we got to slim down. I try to keep it around 40, and even 40 is like 2.5 hours. So like, it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but when you're looking at the folder, it's just like, that doesn't look like too many. And then you control A and you're like, oh, that's 50 cards. I need to cut 12 of them. How? Like, they're all so cool. And then, just as a reminder, on all of our card reviews, there is a visual component on YouTube. If you end up wanting to look at the cards while we're talking about them, YouTube's the place. You should be able to just listen to the podcast. We're pretty good at saying the name of the card. We'll read the card out. So if you're just listening, you should be able to keep up with it. That's kind of the idea. But if you're like me, I have a really low attention span. I will want to see the card every once in a while. So I usually just put it up on YouTube.
I definitely like to read the card a couple
Yeah,
of
yeah.
times.
All right. Well, that is all of our housekeeping. So let's get into Dragonstorm Takir, the commander set. First in our Tarkir commander set is Deadpool trading card. He came out April 1st on a secret layer, and he's really cool. I wanted to find a way to talk about him, and I felt like it was very Deadpool-esque to break the fourth wall and come in on a place he shouldn't be. So
I
he's
mean,
here.
it's right now. If you have any kind of social media, he's all over it
Oh
right
yeah.
now.
Deadpool trading card, 2 generic, black red, legendary creature, mutant mercenary hero. As Deadpool enters, you may exchange his text box with another creature's. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 3 life. 3 generic, sacrifice this creature. Each other player draws a card. He's a 5/3. Draw me like one of your French cards. So he's in, well, was in, I think it already sold out, the April 1st secret layer. One thing to note is the WPN stores will be getting the non-foil. So if you're like, oh no, I just heard about this guy, it's halfway through April, I need him. You don't really need to rush out and buy them on TCG Player. If you do, use our link. But
No, for sure.
the WPN stores should be getting them, I believe, in May. So you might have to wait a little bit. But it's not like Storm or Wolverine or all the other guys where it's like, if you didn't get it right then, you
Yeah.
got to go to the secondary market.
Well, also, if you were trying to pick it up on the secret layer shop,
Yeah.
there was like an hour wait on that thing. Like it was, I had to, I put it in my cart, had it going, checked it like every 30 minutes just to be sure, and I
Yeah.
ended up catching it right in time.
So I usually on the secret layers worked from home, so I could just put it up on my side monitor and just work and then look over. It's a pain if you're not just stuck at a computer.
Sucked.
So like we were at, and like, I'm a plug, not sponsored, but Olive Garden. We were at Olive Garden. Food tasty.
Sponsored by no.
I mean, they could. I would really like it. Food tasty. So I loaded it up, and then we went to Olive Garden, and we were at Olive Garden for like 40 minutes. So I was like, on the drive home, like, it's gonna pop. And I just had my phone like sitting there, and I was like pinging it every like 15 minutes so the phone didn't go to sleep. Get home, hour 20-minute wait, get in, get the foil, get out. And then I saw that the WPN stores were going to have them, and I was like, no way. I was like, okay, just the non-foil. So the foil still is special.
Yeah.
And then the extra slots look pretty cool too, from what I've seen.
Not to talk bad about it, but if you get the opportunity, the foils are always probably better
Yeah.
to grab from the secret layers. Now, if you just want to build this card out, like build this as a deck, I mean, of course, just get it any way you can. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've learned my lesson in some of the secret layers to where I really should have foiled them.
I have a non-foil Thassa Oracle. Well, it's still good, but like
Yeah.
the foil's way better. Yeah. So the reason that we brought this card up is I think it actually is multiple ways CDH viable. It's a forecast, clone, and Rakdos. So if you're not playing with blue at all and you're like, oh man, I really need a clone effect, you can play this in your non-blue deck and still steal an opponent's text box. So if, let's say, Deadpool, you have it in your deck and Sisay is like huge in your area. For 4, you can play Deadpool, take Sisay's like text box. Now you don't have to worry about Sisay anymore, or Timna, or it's 4 to shut another person's commander off, which like usually isn't great, because if you pay 4 to shut one person down, you have 2 other opponents that you have to worry about. So you need to use it like very hesitantly. The other thing about this is when he enters, you may exchange his text box with another creature's. You don't have to. So let's say you have infinite mana through World Gorger combo, which is in the colors. You can get infinite mana. You do have to have a way to stop the combo, so you do have to have another creature somewhere in the graveyards, which usually isn't too hard, but if you try to jam World Gorger turn 1 and you don't have another target, you just lock the game and it's a draw and you don't win.
Well, with him, you would be able to. So if he's your commander, and let's say you do World Gorger.
Well, he doesn't have flash.
No, but if he's on the field, like you can just sack him.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be on the field turn 1.
Oh, I got you. Okay,
So like you can't you can't just go all in and be like World Gorger, infinite mana, and then they're like, cool. How do you stop the loop? It's like, I don't know. This is a draw. I guess we all got a point.
Yeah.
But with him, you can, at sorcery speed, go infinite mana, cast him for 4, 3 and sack, make your opponents draw a card, keep going over and over and over and over again. Let's say they have a Mindbreak Trap or a Force of Will, and they draw into it. You don't really care. You have infinite mana. You just put them back in the command zone and keep going. And then you make them draw their entire library out, and then you win the game.
So this may be a little bit excessive, but let's say you had him on the field while World Gorger was doing his thing. Could you change every text box on their side of the field?
Yeah. So every time he comes in, even if it's through like a myriad effect or a clone, you don't clone him with his new text box, because the layer that the clones happen at are like layer 1 and his text box is layer 2. So you make a copy of him, he comes back in, and then you sack it to the legend rule. Or if you're just flickering them, you just get rid of every text box on every creature on the field.
It's like sack him now.
Yeah. And then like we've seen a couple of people trying to brew him for like more casual play, where they're just like, so if like Yasharn is out, no one can sack the creature. Every single creature that you have drains you for 3 life at the beginning of your upkeep if you can transform them all. I mean, also, like, let's just say you're playing CDH, you're playing Obnix, somebody has a Esper Sentinel out. You just go, okay, I'm going to play Deadpool. I'm going to take Esper Sentinel. So every time you guys cast a non-creature spell, you got to pay 5, because Deadpool's a 5/3.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's like
wow.
a lot of like crazy stuff. Like, clearly taking a Timna is good, but I mean, like, taking an Esper Sentinel, great. You know, like,
My thoughts when I first seen him was this would be an easy slot for Sisay.
yeah.
I mean, because if you're gonna go and grab Shakashima, I mean, this is also a possibility.
I'm personally not a fan in the clone meta that we have right now. I don't like to put things in my deck that if people take it or clone it,
Oh, I heard you.
it shuts me completely down. So like, I probably wouldn't run it in Sisay, but I know black and red is kind of hard to make in Sisay. So like him at 4 isn't terrible. I mean, also in a pinch too, you could steal your own Derevi and then like untap something with the ETB and then keep going. So
Yeah.
I think it does make sense. I've seen too many things where I've been like, okay, like let me put this in my deck. Like it's really good against my opponents, and I just really hope they can't clone it. And like every time somebody has a clone, whenever we go to like tournaments, because it's just like, oh yeah, clones are good. Yeah, it's EDH.
Yeah, there's quite a few
Yeah.
now. Like Phantasmal Image isn't even really used as much as like Imposter Mech or
Yeah. Like there's really, really good clones that have been really, really good for a while. And in the last year, like they're just not best in slot anymore, which is crazy. But this is really cool because it's non-blue. So like if you've ever played not blue and you're just like, man, I really like those clone effects. It really sucks that blue gets clones and counter spells and everything else. At least there's like an off card. It is 4, so it is a lot, but I mean you can do a lot of silly stuff with this too.
it's good control.
Yeah.
Like stealing, like you said, stealing commanders or whatever else. Like I just all around is pretty versatile.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that like I thought he was good, and then I saw that with World Gorger combo, he just wins the game by decking your opponents out. I was
Mm.
like, oh, this is pretty good. It is kind of scary that it has to be done at sorcery speed because like if somebody I don't know, Oblex or whatever, the thing that like takes your commander and doesn't send it to the command zone,
Mm.
then you're just like, oh well, okay. Yeah. But yeah. Let's go over the rating system. I completely forgot about that. You guys should know at this point, but
Should know
no.
it.
So our rating scale is 1 through 5, only whole numbers. 1 is I think it's neat. 2 is put it aside for later. 3 is might see some play. 4 is I know this will see some play in a certain deck. 5 is this will be a strong add in any color deck the card can be run in. And then we also have a force of will, 1 per review. Either mark the card as best in the set or it returns someone else's rating. Only your rating is used in the final calculation. It's Deadpool, so at the very least, it's a 3. Because I know you could print a 5/3 generic creature, and if it's Deadpool, people will play.
I mean, to be real,
But I think it's a 4.
this is a 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I'll force it just because it'd be kind of cheap to do it out of the set personally. But I mean, this card, if you're playing those colors, just about every deck, and if it is just those 2 colors, it is
Yeah.
going in the deck like usually.
Yeah, that's fair. The only reason I wasn't going to give it a 5 is because I don't see this being played in like Rogsai.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
it could though.
yeah. It's 4. Like for me, if it was 3, it'd be a 5. But the more I've played, the more I'm like, if this creature's 4, like I better start winning the turn that I play it, because like once you have 4 mana, like that's when people are doing Thassa combos, like stuff like that. Which I mean, Deadpool really cool if you can clone a Thassa and then Tainted Pact on top of it.
That would be pretty funny. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, Hashton does a lot of stuff. So 4.5.
Yeah, it's definitely good.
All right, we're going to go into all of the face commanders and the secondary commanders just because they're almost always worth looking at, even if they're not super competitive. Someone might just pick up the precon and just be like, I really like this, upgrade it, kind of smash their pod and be like, I'm going to take this to a tournament. So I like to stay apprised of them. So we will go over all of them. If it's not a very CDH card, I will say that I'll probably just go, yeah, this is not CDH1, and then kind of end of discussion. But let's roll through these. So this is Betor, Ancestor's Voice, 2 generic white, black, green, legendary creature, Spirit Dragon, flying lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, put a number of 1/1 counters on up to one other target creature you control, equal to the amount of life you gain this turn. Return up to 1 target creature card with mana value less than or equal to the amount of life you lost this turn from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this in itself has lifelink, so probably the turn that you're going to swing with it, you'll get 3/1/1 counters on something. In my mind, this isn't a very CDH card, number one, because it costs 5 with 3 colors that you need to cast. It's a 3/5, and then you have to pass, unless you are already losing life or gaining life. Return up to 1 target creature with mana value less than or equal to the amount of life you lost this turn from graveyard to the battlefield. Pretty good. But a lot of the times you're returning a creature, you kind of want to just go like, haha, surprise Grand Abolisher, or like, haha, surprise Thassa. But whenever it's the beginning of your end step, like, you're not really doing anything with a surprise Grand Abolisher. So I'll give this one a 1 personally.
Yeah, and then it's not gained either. Like, it's only the life you've lost. So
Yeah.
I would say it's a 1.
Yeah, one win counters for gaining life is not a very good payoff, and then getting a creature on your end step, meh. Yeah, yeah. So I agree with the 1 there too. Elsha, Threefold Master, blue, red, white, legendary creature, Jin Monk, trample, prowess. When you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end turn. When Elsha deals combat damage to a player, create that many 1/1 white monk creature tokens with prowess. Elsha is a 1/1, and there's a lot of ones on here, so very clearly a 1 out of 5. It's cool. It's just we already have such a good Elsha that really defines that color pie in CDH, and
It's already having trouble with Jeskai. Like, and if you're a Jeskai player, and I'm hurting your feelings, like that combo is just really hard to get up and going.
they
Personally,
do have Underworld Breach, Brain Freeze combo with Savines, which is kind of the only out in those colors. And it's successful. It's really hard to close in those colors, and your commander needs to be like
decent.
really, really decent.
I would argue that it needs to have some kind of draw, or some kind of it needs to go through your deck some.
Yeah. I mean, Elsha, you're going to cast on turn 3 probably because it costs blue, red, white. And then you're going to pass. And then you're going to be like, oh boy, if I get to swing on my next turn, well, I have to storm off first. But after that, I'll get like 5/1/1s if they don't block. Ooh.
I mean, kind of cool with Jessica's will, maybe, but I don't think it dictates anything over a 1.
Mm-mm. 1 for CDH. Still cool, but a 1. Eshkai, Tamir's Roar. Green, blue, red. Legendary creature, human warrior. When you cast a creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on Eshki. If that spell's power is 4 or greater, draw a card. If that spell's power is 6 or greater, Eshki deals damage equal to Eshki's power to each opponent. And then it starts out as a 2/2. This one, I've seen it discussed as if you are already running Temur colors and you really want to run food chain combo, if your commander itself doesn't food chain out, this can food chain out. Because every time you cast a creature spell, it gets a 1/1 counter. And then if that spell's power is 4 or greater, draw a card. And if the spell's power is 6 or greater, deals damage equal to her power to each opponent. So, like, you do have to have a commander that is 6 power or greater. But if you're just like, I really want to play like a big, beefy commander, you can have her in the 99 and just go like, okay, cool. I'm going for it. Boom, 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 boom. You're all dead.
Yeah, I mean, some of those food chain cards you go into are really high, and then
Yeah.
you just kind of. I mean, I can see it. I don't think I would give it any more than maybe like a 2
Oh yeah,
or a 3.
I'd give it a 1.
You think a 1?
Yeah, because with those conversations, I'm just like, why would you? In Tamir, why would you not be running a food chain commander? Yeah, like you have food chain, you have squee, and you have counter spells, and like pretty much every commander in those colors either have cascade or like put something on ETB or just like straight damage. I mean, I guess if you like go through your deck and you put out creatures, this is a good way to be like, okay, I have turn 2 squee food chain. what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep ETBing this guy. He lets me look at the top X cards. I get a creature. I put it on the battlefield. I'll go through my deck. I'll get Eshki. Eshki, because this thing is 6 or greater, will just kill everybody. Game. You know, like it's a good way to
It's a closer.
close. I guess 2, and I would agree with 2 just because, like, if I really wanted to play a big giant commander and then I wanted to be like, hey, this can go get creatures. I'll show you guys how you've lost right here, or I can play through it. Would be pretty good. I mean, also too, like whenever you cast a creature spell, put a 1/1 counter. If you can just squee and make her like infinitely big, you pretty much just have to go like, okay, well, all I gotta do is find a creature spell with 6 power or higher. You guys are all dead. Like I get it, but
it's a win con.
Yeah.
And with those, they're not just ones, in my opinion. Like I would say 2, maybe 3. I don't think that the 3 it'll see play in casual. Like
Yeah.
definitely.
I would say 2. You've kind of won me over on it too. I mean, food chain combo is already kind of hard to pull off, and then adding a third card that you need to have also is pretty difficult. But I mean, I like that it's printed. I like that it's out there.
I think that if you have a 6 cost, you just food chain until you win.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I get it.
So that is Eshki Tamir's Roar.
2.
Fellow Thar, the Steadfast. 1 generic, white, black, green. Legendary creature, human warrior. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have defender. 3, tap, sacrifice another creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness, then discard cards equal to its power. It itself is a 0/5.
Meh.
Yeah. So like anytime I see a sacrifice another creature in green, I'm thinking about Hulk lines, or Academy Rector. I think that goes and gets. There's one that gets enchantments, and there's one that gets planeswalkers. And I'm looking at this, and it's like, so my creature has to be around a full turn, and then even when I get that combo out, I have to pay 3 in sack. Whenever like there's multiple lands that do that now, and you're in green, so you're in crop rotation colors. Like, this isn't a terrible commander, but it's not CDH. Like, whenever I look at it, it is cool because a lot of the stacks pieces have bigger toughness than power. So like having a bunch of stacks pieces and then being able to swing with them is good. But I mean, you're not going to win the game like that. Like, people are just going to draw out the time.
For whatever reason, the art itself, I think, is a 5.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why I like it, but
Well, he's got, or she has like the Devil Oni armor from Disgaea on from some reason, and like,
and then this weird mole lizard guy. I don't know. I like the card itself, how it looks, but
you know what it looks like? It looks like a fantasy version of the, was it Nile Monitor from Rescues Down Under?
Yeah. I got you. I was gonna say it looks like a Jim Henson creature. But no, I think that, I mean, this is hard too, because these type of decks, is it CEDH viable? It's a 1.
Yeah.
It might see it'll probably see play in casual though, just because people like the defender type of stuff.
Yeah, and like there's a lot of cards that enable that now. So like I can think of 3 off the top of my head that are those colors. That, like, there's Tree Folk, there's support for it. Now there's more support for it, which is cool, but for CDH, meh.
Yeah. It just looks cool.
Yeah. So we're going to give a 1 to Fellow Thar, the Steadfast. Kotis Sibsig Champion. Black, green, blue. Legendary creature, zombie warrior. Once during each of your turns, you may cast a creature spell from your graveyard by exiling 3 other cards from your graveyard in addition to paying its other costs. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control enter, if 1 or more of them entered from a graveyard, or was cast from the graveyard, put 2/1/1 counters on Kotis.
There's a combo here.
So we have somebody in our group that is really excited about this guy and really excited to build it. And props to them, but I don't get it. Like I do get that for one spell you are able to underworld breach in black, green, blue, but like just play underworld breach, play red. Like
Right.
it has combos, but like the Lotus Light Dancers really are this commander but better and in the 99. Like for how specific his cost is, the black, green, blue, and his effect is just kind of meh. Like reanimation in CDH, kind of meh, unless you're playing like Hashaton. And even then, like there's so many things that just stop you from that game plan where you're like, oh, okay, I got to go in my backup. My backup is going to be Thassa's Oracle, which Kotis can do, but it doesn't have white to do the silence effects. So like, eh. Um, since we know somebody that's excited about it, I'll give it a 3 because he's building it, and he has shown me some combos, and I do kind of get it. I get why he's excited. I just don't see it. But honestly, I never see Sultai color combinations. Like even the frog, Gronk, Grolnok, I forget his name. No, not Grolnok. Grolnok was the
Glarb.
Glarb. Yeah, Glarb. I didn't see it first, and now after playing Glarb, I'm like, I get it. So this might be a like, I don't see it.
I thought Glarb had white. Does it not?
Mm-mm. That's
Really?
the other frog that our friend plays.
Yeah. Okay. I get them mixed up.
Helga, I think it's called.
Helga,
Yeah. Glarb is because we've. I know that Glarb is because we've been trying to be like, hey, instead of building Kotis, why don't you just build Glarb? But yeah, I'll give it a 3. I think I'm missing something, and I'll say that the effect does sound very powerful. I just meh.
If you're listening to this and you're like screaming at the screen, put it in the comments because I know for sure whenever you see some breach line effects, there's got to be some combos with it.
Yeah, it's just once during each of your turns. Like maybe it's a Doomsday Pile, something or another. Like maybe it's a Dread Return. Maybe it's like there's a lot of combos. But I mean, honestly, the Lotus Light Dancers, like they had better combos in my opinion.
I could see it. I was gonna say a 2, but I could definitely see a 3 as well.
Yeah, I'll benefit of the doubt 3 because I'm sure I'm missing something, and if we are, let us know.
My issue with this is if you have option of this, you might as well play Glarb.
Yeah, I mean that's true of any color combination where it's like, well, if you're playing Hashton, why don't you play Tivit? It's like because I don't want to play Tivit. That's the answer.
Well,
Like,
I agree to a degree. I would say that Hashaton plays a lot more kind of like Kennen than like Tivit.
well, I mean that's also like all the people that were playing white, black, blue, red before the bans where everybody was like, why don't you just play Blue Farm? They're like, because I don't want to play Blue Farm.
I get you.
I mean, also too on this, like I don't know what Kotis does. So like if you sit down and you play with me at a tournament, I'm gonna be like, I know your commander's gonna do something. I don't know what that is. So like if you slip it past me, you got it, man. And like Glarb is like, oh, I know that I let you cast Doomsday, and then after you cast Doomsday, I just mess your world up. Like,
Or Op Agent your Doomsday.
yeah, or Op Agent your Doomsday. Like
So funny.
Glarb is it's good, and I mean the Doomsday piles are very good, but like you're putting yourself out of the game to try, which is true of a lot of those colors, but like that deck in particular, like if you know how to play against it and you have cards against it, you're pretty much just like, yeah, I'll let Doomsday resolve. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'd say put it in the comments. I'm gonna say it's a 2.
Cool. 2.5 for Kotis Sig Champion. Nerev, Crackling Vanguard. 2 generic, red, white, black. Legendary creature, Spirit Dragon. Flying Death Touch. When Nerev enters, create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. Whenever it attacks, exile a number of cards from the top of your library equal to the number of differently named tokens you control. During any turn you attacked with a commander, you may play those cards. 4/4. cool. Yeah. It definitely has a casual vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
However, the fact that you just have a second exile pile that's just like, yep, they never go away, and if I have my commander and I attack with it, I get to play him is kind of scary. However, it's really hard to exile them that way, and Nariv also doesn't have haste. So you have to find a way to cast a 5-color dragon and then give it haste and then have access to that stuff. And you'll probably only get like 2 or 3 cards if you're lucky. Like you always get one. Well, I'm not even going to say always, because when it enters, you get a goblin and then you have to attack to trigger it. So like it's really hard to put together what this commander wants to do, and other commanders in CDH don't have that problem. But like, if you can pull it off, my God, yeah, like that's strong.
I Yeah, it's a whole lot of casual here. I think that uh is it Mardu? Like
Yeah.
Mardu is very specific on how it wins.
Mm-hmm.
And the commanders that play Mardu,
Kalia, like,
uh, I mean, even Kalia is more uh casual.
oh, she's been doing really well lately.
Really?
Like, and I think with this set, all of the dragons, she'll be doing much better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily think about Kalia on that front. I
She's
was thinking,
always kind of slipped in the top 4, like very rarely, just because like,
yeah,
what do you
you
do?
got to
Yeah.
do something.
Like we even played with somebody that normally just plays casual and is like not really interested in CDH, and we got the bye round 1, so we played with the judge and then him who was running the tournament, and I was just like, well, shoot, like all of the CDH people have been trying to stop each other from winning, and you just have like ridiculous cards out right now.
Yeah, you
Like,
have death on the board in the next
yeah.
turn.
Like we're having to like talk to you and be like, all right, it's my turn. Do you promise not to kill me? Because if you don't kill me, I'll do this for you. You know? And I don't see that with Nariv, just because like it's too slow for CDH, but like it is really cool for casual.
For me, I was thinking Dahada or
Oh,
Dargo,
Dahada too. Yeah, yeah. Dargo Timna.
Dargo Timna. But no, I would say this is a 1, maybe a 2. I could see 2 because it is somewhat of a win con if you get enough blinks in there somehow. But
Yeah, and the other thing too is like I'm kind of looking at this card as a commander, but like during any turn you attacked with a commander, you may play those cards. So like you could drop, well, no, because Nariv has to like exile them. But like you could drop Nariv and like put those cards to the side, and then anytime you attack with like Timna or Dargo or anything like that, you can get access to those cards.
mm,
Being in the 99, yeah, but it's got potential. I'd put it aside. It would probably stay in the like a side box
yeah.
for forever, but it's interesting.
I think even with Kalia, even if you were using this with Kalia, there's better dragons and better demons to drop down, and angels and such.
Yeah, I mean, if whenever you drop well, no, I was about to say when you drop them, you get the goblin creature tokens, but whenever he attacks, and Kalia puts them out tapped and attacking, so it doesn't count
Yeah, it
as
does.
attack. Yeah,
No, it doesn't attack, but you still get the goblins. And then,
which meh.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's more of the next turn or two. You're going to be
yeah,
like, I'm going to have a whole lot of cards on the side
yeah,
because you're probably going to have a treasure token.
yeah.
Like that's prime colors for treasure tokens. I don't really,
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about treasure tokens.
but I mean that's still only 2 different cards.
Yeah,
You know, you'd have to have
it's real slow.
quite a few tokens for this to really make a sense. And then why would you have this in your spot instead of something like Master of Cruelties or something?
Yeah, that's true.
With Kalia.
Yeah, I'll give it a 2. I think.
It's a dragon though.
Yeah,
Too.
I think there's potential. I'm just not seeing it. But like as of right now, the fact it does so many different things is cool. Nothing does what this does, so I'd put it aside. I'd want to have it ready to consider it, because really, whenever I say 1, it's like this is neat. It's gonna go in my bulk box and never see the light of day again. But I would want to have access to this when I'm deck building.
And that's the effect of this card is um forever, right? As long as you attack with a commander.
Mm-hmm. So it can be gone, and those cards are stamped with that.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say a 2.
Cool. That is a 2 for Nariv Crackling Vanguard. Shiko and Narset Unified. This is where we're going into the secondary commanders. One generic, blue, red, white. Legendary creature, human, spirit, dragon. So those are like very good like types, human, spirit, and dragon. Flying Vigilance. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy that spell if it targets a permanent or player, and you may choose new targets for the copy. If you don't copy a spell this way, draw a card. It's a 4/4.
I think it's better than the other one.
Yeah, for sure.
Like this would be the one I'd play.
It's interesting because it's each turn, and it's a spell, but only if it targets a permanent or player. So like, you can't cast a creature spell that has an ETB that targets somebody. Like it has to be like fireball or like.
So I guess on cast it would have to target. Huh?
Yeah, so like
Okay.
Emrakul, you could copy.
That's stupid.
You just get a 13/13 flying whatever, which I mean which is funny in ZDH that's like that's not good. like it's good, but like you're not gonna win with. I don't know, because then you'd have to sack one of the Emrakuls, so like yeah, it's bad. Like
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a combo here. I think there's a specific win line with this card. What it would be, I can't really recall at this moment in my knowledge of cards, but
yeah, I mean it's also not terrible if you don't copy the spell. Like let's say you get in a counter war, you cast your second counter, and then you're like draw trigger on the stack.
yeah. I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah.
You are in Flood Mall or Flood not into the Flood Mall. What is that shoot, what's that card? The otter.
Oh, Valley Flood Color.
You're in Flood colors, so you
Yeah.
could put it out.
Lots of flash potential here. I mean, I think it's generically good. Am I excited to really build a commander deck around it? No, not really. But I'm not really a fan of Jeskai colors, to be honest. Like that takes a level of thinking that I'm just not prepared to do in a tournament. Like the amount of spells you have to put on the stack, and like it's a lot. So I will say generically good. Should probably be a 3. Like I could see this in the like Narset and other things. It's really cool to just be like, boom, I'm gonna hit you with you know, a fireball for 6, and it's my second spell because I cast a ritual to get it. So I'm also gonna hit you for 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's put it aside.
Yeah. There's some stuff in this set that kind of deals with multiple targets. I know that I always forget the name of the card, the Jeskai Kieran, that every time you cast a spell, based off how many people you're targeting, it costs one less.
Would I'm sorry,
But like that, this is going to be really good in that one.
would Jessica's will be able to be copied? Because don't you target a player?
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be able to double Jessica's will.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a thing.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah. I think it's good. I think it's generically good, and which is weird because like there are some CDH commanders that just like go to the top of the charts just because like, yeah, this is really versatile. It doesn't blow anything out of the water. It's just generically good, and like I think this could be there. I don't really think that Kieran card is gonna. I really should have looked it up beforehand, but I don't think that Kieran card's gonna come out of like CDH casual or come out of casual and go into CDH, but there's been enough stuff printed for it that like as I was reading, I was just like, this might be something people try, you know, which is cool.
yeah, the fact that you can try having new and upcoming commanders to kind of hit the scene is always a plus in the format.
Yeah. I'm giving it a 3. What about you?
I'm gonna say a 2 just because I don't see the deck just yet.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Cool.
mean a whole lot.
That's a 2.5 for Shiko and Narset. Next one, Taval, the balance scale. One generic black, green, blue, legendary creature, spirit dragon. Flying, whenever Taval attacks, mill 3 cards, then you may return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. It's a 4/4. So this is the one that we were kind of brewing in the Discord, and it looks fun. I will say there's like quite a lot of setup because not only do you need to have Taval out, but you need to find a way to kind of empty your graveyard. Because anytime one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token, which there's a lot of things. We saw that in I'm blanking on the black white god that you bought last weekend.
Ketramos.
Yeah, Ketramos. We saw that there's a lot of cards that you can just be like, like this is a 1-cost artifact. Buy. There's also a pretty cool enchantment in Sultai colors that you exile I think it's a creature from your graveyard and add a generic mana. So you can just be like, all right, exile, get a 2/2. I get a generic. Exile, get a 2/2. I get a generic. There's a lot of cards that are pretty good in here, but pretty much what I saw the potential with is Teval. If you have 3 zombie druid creature tokens out and you play Empty the Laboratory, which is a sorcery with X blue, sacrifice X zombies, pull X zombies out of your deck and put them to the battlefield, you can pay 5 and then just win the game because you'll just be like, okay, well, I'll get I forget the combo, but it's a little involved. I'll put a link to the primer in the pin comments. It's not ours. It's somebody that saw this card and made like a really good primer on it. It looks like it has a lot of potential. It is a little slow and it does have quite a bit of setup, but I mean, that's not too bad where CDH has been right now. Like, we're not really seeing a whole bunch of ROG size where it's just like, do you win before me? No? Cool, I win. Yeah, like a lot of the games are kind of drawn out to where you're really pushing in the last 5-10 minutes, or you have a 4-hour finals game. But I mean, like this has a grind plan, and its grind plan is really good. You could also just there's a lot of things that you can do now with zombies where you're just like, well, I can't win here, but I can make 40 billion 2/2 black zombie creature tokens.
Pass the turn.
Pass.
Can you win next? Yeah. No, I think this is pretty interesting. Anything that mills and returns stuff from the graveyard is always going to hit somewhere around 2 or 3, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I would probably put this as a 3 if I had to guess.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it does have potential because like all of the tokens are zombie druids too, and there is a 5-cost druid. It's 3 generic green that its effect is tap 5 druids, take target opponent's lands. So like,
nasty.
You could, and like the crazy thing about Taval is you mill 3 cards and you return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So you could pretty easily just be like, oh yeah, I'm kind of behind, guys, and then go and attack, get a free land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped, get a black zombie druid creature token, and you're also in like good colors to run like Amulet and the turtle that makes things come in untapped. And you could just be like, oh man, well, I've got 5 2/2 black zombie druids. For 5, I'm going to cast this creature. Oh, you guys don't have Forcible? Great. Hey, you're in first place. Your lands are mine. Thank you. Like, you know, I think it has potential. I will say, unfortunately, if I'm being honest with myself, it's a 3. It is slow, and slow is kind of tough in CDH. And it also, like, if someone knows that you're just trying to get 3 zombies and cast into the Warren for 5, or empty the laboratory for 5, there's ways to stop it if you know what it's doing. It just looks really fun. I mean, it also has a Thassa backup plan always. So
The issue I see with it, um, not going into like high CEDH play, is the colors.
it's
Like,
also that darn attack trigger. Like anything that's like when this commander attacks, I'm just like trash. Like is the first thing I think.
well, it seems like it wants to have stacks to kind of hold things down,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have white to really get the good stacks in. Like you have some, but there's no way you're gonna slow a game down as slow as stacks will in blue where you can counter.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's more of I'm gonna protect my win, not let's draw this out 4 or 5 turns. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I do like that you return a land card from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped, but I mean, you're already at 4 lands, most likely, at least 3, whenever you can attack with him. I don't know. I see it. I like it. I want to like it more. I will give it a 3 though.
Realistically, Thrasios does very similar as far as getting a land out, and
For 4 though,
well, yeah, but
but he doesn't have to
he doesn't have
pass
to
and attack. Yeah,
he doesn't have to do a bunch of jump through a bunch of loops and hoops and stuff.
yeah,
It just I don't know. Like I think that there's a good play here. I think that it's good to know about it and have it as
yeah.
I see some plays where I'm at with it.
I mean, we did see with Ketramos that like being able to get things from cards leaving your graveyard is pretty good and it's pretty easy to do. And when that thing is a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token, like that also counts like flashback and stuff like that. Um, it has potential. I do think it's definitely fringe tier, if that, but I mean it's a dragon you can play in Sultai for 4. Pretty cool.
You might see one at a tournament though. I've seen crazier things.
You can use the Mox Jasper in this deck.
That's true.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3. What's your score?
3 is where I'm at.
Cool. Ureni of the Unwritten. Legendary creature, Spirit Dragon. It's 4. I skipped over this because it's so high. 4 generic, green, blue, red. Legendary creature, Spirit Dragon, flying trample. When Ureni enters or attacks, look at the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a dragon creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. 7/7. This is an insane food chain commander. Not as insane as Tiamat. I mean, also like, what is it? Dracogenesis is 6, and this costs 7. So you could like ETB, hope you get a value dragon, and then pass. I was surprised that this is rated pretty highly amongst people that play like really good CDH, like top the charts at like really good tournaments. Like they were like, this is great, and you have a grind plan if you can't win the game through food chain right away. It's either like get a crazy creature out with food chain, or the game gets to the point where you have 7 mana and you have a 7/7 flying trample that potentially gets you a free dragon every turn. I'm gonna say it's a 3 personally. If I sat down at a table and I saw somebody had a 7 cost dragon, I wouldn't be too scared, and maybe I'd be wrong, but I'll give it a 3.
I mean, it's got good colors to counter,
Yeah,
but I think that since the pivotal point would be food chain hitting the field,
yeah.
like food chain will be countered.
Well,
Like you,
also too, doesn't Grafdigger's Cage stop this because it goes from library to battlefield?
it says look at the top 8 and then put it. Yeah, it wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, so like it doesn't really play around the popular stacks in the format, and like, I mean, crazy food chain, yeah, but I mean, you know what else is a crazy food chain that wins right away? Atali. Yeah, to me, this is an Atali, and I will say that like Atali with blue was kind of my dream, and like I could see it. I mean, you have a lot of good ramp. You could get this out pretty quickly. I want to give it a 3. It's probably a 4 in action. I will admit that, but I mean my score for it's going to be a 3 just because really I don't really have anything to say about it other than like yeah, it's a good food chain commander. It has counters, and if you get to late game, you got a 7/7 flying trampler that will eventually win, in untimed rounds.
I was gonna say a 2,
Yeah.
but I mean, and my reasoning for 2 is this better than already food chain commanders? Maybe.
Is it better than loot?
Uh, Maybe.
Yeah. And like loot, we rated pretty low. I'll stick with my 3 and we can give it a 2.5.
Yeah, I think that's solid.
Zergo, Storm Renderer, red, white, black, legendary creature, Orc Warrior. Has mobilize 1. When this creature attacks, create a tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior creature token. Sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. Whenever a creature token you control leaves the battlefield, draw a card if it was attacking. Otherwise, each opponent loses 1 life. I'm going to be real quick with this one. I don't even think that this is an Agila card just because, like, meh. By the time you have set up for it, like, meh. And like, let's just say that you put this down and it's like, all right, well, with Najila, I'm swinging for 4 warriors. And if you block them, everybody loses 4 life. I'd be like, okay, well, I'd rather lose 4 life than die. So,
Yeah, let's stop that. I'm gonna say this is a 2.
Yeah, I'll give it a 2. Not really good on CDH. It's neat. It doesn't really go into anything that's doing well right now, and it's hard to cast.
It's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Cool. I forgot what we rated it to.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it 2.
Cool. 2 for Zergo Storm Renderer. Okay, that was the 10 commanders. So we have 20 other cards. The commanders I spent a little bit of time on just because you're going to see them. These cards I tried to pick ones that were CDH worthy, so it's not going to be the full set. There's a lot of giant 6 cost, 7 cost dragons that we probably aren't going to go over. So I would say, like, if you're curious, take a look. But from here on, it's just going to be things that I think are somewhat CDH viable. So this is Anok, Strike Leader, 1 generic, white, creature, dog warrior. It's a dog riding a giant saber-tooth house cat.
5.
5, yeah. No. Art is a 5. If that's a score you're keeping track on. Whenever you attack with this creature and/or your commander, for each opponent, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking that player. Sacrifice this creature. Creature tokens you control gain indestructible until end of turn. It's a 2/2. Kind of crazy. This isn't specifically an Najila card because they do come in tapped and attacking, so they don't count for her triggers. But like the fact that on turn 3 you can swing with this and get was it for each opponent? So you get 4 goblin creature tokens and a 2/2 swing on turn 3.
I think it's 3. You get 3 because you get for each opponent.
For each opponent. Oh yeah, 3. Yeah, duh. Yeah.
And then but still though,
and if they're not going to go through and you need them, you can sacrifice the creature.
They're not warriors. If they were warriors, this would be This would be Silly Town.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, it's a good blue farm card.
I was about to say, I think Blue Farm might want this.
Yeah. I mean, if you're running the Thropter lieutenant creature that puts out 2 Thropters.
You're talking about Loyal Apprentice?
Yeah. And then like somebody tries to field wipe and if it's not, something, if it's something that only destroys, fine.
Or Deluge.
Yeah, there's not a lot of that. Like you're not really playing Wrath of God and CDH.
No, Dam has been a big thing that's kind of coming back.
Yeah.
And this kind of stops that.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that you can just be like, I really need the 3 tokens. I'm going to swing with this guy. Cool, you'd kill him. I'm just going to sacrifice and like I get to keep the goblins. Like it's a good value and no lose type of card, which is what I like to see. I'm still going to give this one a 2 just because like I don't think it's great enough to work its way into really any deck outside of like I think it's a good option for Blue Farm, but I don't think very many people that play Blue Farm are like, I need to find a spot for this. Yeah.
No, I've already picked up the card out of this whole set that I think Blue Farm is just gonna
Oh yeah. Yeah.
like drool over the that white creature.
Yeah.
That's,
The Bard.
but I mean, this isn't bad either. Like I'd say a 3.
2, like that's the other thing is like this effect on something that costs 2 is pretty good.
I would say 2, or I would say a 3 in rating.
Yeah.
I am kind of worried now that we're looking through all of this that I didn't force of will something, but I mean,
There's some good things. Yeah.
I mean,
I think this is interesting. It's again generically good, which is a lot of what this set is. Like, I don't think there's too many things that are just blowing out of the water except the Silence Bard. Yeah.
I mean, with this one, you know, I could say the only reason I can't go to 3 or 4 is that this isn't going to go in every white deck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's cool, but I don't think it's going to go in every one. And then I think it'll go in Blue Farm, but there's so many options in Blue Farm.
It's already so tight. Like,
I mean, yeah, I get to draw a card with 2. Because, I mean, how are you going to block 4 creatures swinging at you?
yeah.
But, meh.
I'll go ahead and give it a 2. You said you're a
I'm a 3.
3,
Yeah,
so
I'm a 3.
2.5 for Anok Strike Leader. I really want this card in my side deck because every time I build a white deck, or I put Timna in the command zone, like I'm looking at this. So
I mean, if the dog commander ever became a thing,
oh yeah,
that would probably be.
But he's more like legendaries because I think it's when you cast a legendary spell, you put a 1/1 on him.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Ironwood Forger, 3 generic and a white creature orc artificer. Lieutenant, at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control your commander, target non-legendary creature you control gains Myriad until end of turn. It's a 3/3. Myriad is whenever it attacks for each opponent other than the defending player, create a token copy that's tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. Exile the tokens at the end of combat. Generically good. Like, I can't really think of any crazy thing because it's basically you're just going to get all of the ETBs, they're going to attack, and then you exile them at the end of combat. But like, just being able to pay 4 and then move to combat and be like, this guy is going at all of you right now.
So you would make a copy that's tapped and attacking of a non-legendary.
Yeah, outside of the defending player. So you swing at one person and then the other ones go at the other 2 players.
So it would create 2 copies is what I'm understanding.
You'd have 3 on board, but 2 of them would be copies.
So really you're looking at something with an ETB? Possibly?
Yeah.
I can't think of the combo. I do think that this is just with the text itself. I think it's a 3. I don't know where that 3 is though.
Yeah, I'd give it a 2. It's generically good, which I mean is kind of for me the catchphrase of this commander set is there's a lot of things that I like. I like that they're printed. Where do they blow anything out of the water? No, but like for 4, that's a pretty good effect, and like a 4 for an immediate effect too. Like you pay 4, you move to combat, and then you're just like surprise siege chickens. Yeah,
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, you could if you're playing white green, anything that like destroys an artifact, you're just like, okay, well, I have 2 more ETBs that destroy artifacts. Boom, boom, gone. Or like Reclamation Sage, you just destroy enchantments, like 2 enchantments every time you go to combat.
A Thorn Mammoth, is he a
I don't think so. I don't think it's a legendary. But like Rec Sage for sure. Or like Eternal Witness or
Witness.
Yeah. Like move to combat, get 2 things from my graveyard. You have Eternal Witnesses coming at you. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good like recycle effect.
I like it. Again, there's a combo, I'm sure of it, what it is.
I mean, Bowmaster. If you have Delaney out, you're just like, all right, well, I'm gonna swing with Bowmaster, make 2 more Bowmasters, hit for 4 in 4 separate pings.
So it'd be like 8 damage plus.
Would be 2 new copies that each hit for 2 each.
So 4.
Yeah.
And then you would get 4 on your army.
Yeah.
That's kind of rough.
Yeah. I mean, you're not really wanting to swing with Bowmaster because like Bowmaster just kind of stays back. But
you know what though? So
wait, Delaney would make it unblockable.
Yeah, but yeah.
So it'd be pretty safe. Yeah.
So Brewmaster, no, the Warren Soul Trader. In between it, you could sack those for treasures, right?
Yeah, for one life apiece.
So you could be like, trigger hits, sack a bow, trigger hits, sack a bow, or sack an army.
The army, yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
Let me make sure Warren Soul Trader doesn't say. Yeah, no, it's sacrifice another creature, create a treasure token.
I mean, that's every turn. If there's bow, it's a really convoluted.
I mean, you could Razaketh every like triggers on the stack. Razaketh, get an army. Razaketh, get an army. Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I like it.
I guess I'll give it a 3.
I think it'll see something.
The more we talked about it, the more I was like, maybe I put this in Hashaton and make copies of my tokens because
they're not
Consecrated Sphinx isn't legendary.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Not that I would be drawing, like I would be forcing you guys to draw during combat, but like still.
Well, it's until the end of the turn, right?
At the end of combat, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
There's potential. I think something will use this, so I'll give it a 3. And we have a 3 for Iron Will Forger. Tempest Technique, 3 generic white enchantment aura. It has Storm. When you cast a spell, copy it for each spell cast before it this turn. You may choose new targets for the copies. Copies become tokens. Enchant creature you control. Enchant creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. So something with Storm that costs 4 is going to be kind of difficult. But let's say you have an Esper Sentinel and you play a Soul Ring. And then you play something else, and then you finish it up with Tempest Technique. You can make your Esper Sentinel, because you would be getting 3 copies, be a 10/10, because it counts each enchantment. So if you cast Tempest Technique and you have a Storm of 3, and you put 3 enchantments on that single creature, each one of those would give it +3/+3. So you'd have a 10/10 Esper Sentinel, which is kind of crazy. I really only think that this is going to go in Elvery. Like, Elvery would really like this. Not that Elvery's storming off, usually. This is more interesting than anything, but I thought it was kind of cool as far as oh yeah, this is kind of crazy very easily.
What do you think about Light Paws in this?
Light Paws, I don't think will ever be CDH.
Well, I mean, in general.
Oh, I mean, yeah, crazy in Light Paws, but Light Paws is.
I know you want to cast this spell.
Yeah,
but it's interesting.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's very good for Voltron. Just Voltron isn't really.
It's not viable.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that.
Voltron holds a special place in my heart, but not CDH viable.
I'm torn. I think this is neat, but I do think that you want to know that this is somewhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2.
Yeah, I'm solid with that too.
Cool. Yep, another one that's just generically good. Tempest Technique. Deceptive Frostkite. Blue creature dragon. Flying. You may have this creature enter as a copy of a creature you control, power 4 or greater, except it's a dragon in addition to its other types and it has flying. It's a 1/1. So usually clones at 2 blue, you're kind of just like, we have a lot of good clones for 2. This one I specifically like because I want to use it in Hashaton, because every single thing that I put out with Hashaton is a 4/4. So I could make a copy of a 4/4 Esper Sentinel that is a dragon and also has flying.
With power 4. I thought it was like mana cost.
Mm-mm.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like, was it a not flesh gorger,
Duplicate?
flesh duplicate? It's flesh duplicate cost, and it's more restrictive, but like,
Not
lol.
not much
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
Like this is, I mean, if you're gonna copy something, you're gonna want it has to be you control.
yeah,
But I mean, with you getting a consecrated sphinx and then copying it,
yeah,
like that's stupid town.
yeah. Or an Esper Sentinel, or
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, like it's
I
like
mean,
I have a 4/4 flying Esper Sentinel dragon. Like,
is it worth it to put in your?
I'm gonna test it.
I mean,
I mean, a 2 cost dragon is really good. That's kind of what we were asking for in the command zone when we saw Mox Jasper. You know, the fact that you can get a dragon out that early is something of note. Um, Me being selfish personally, I just think it's cool I can clone Hashton clones. I'll test it. Honestly, at the end of the day, that list is getting so tight that like I don't have Traneth Magistrate in there. So like, should I include this over a Droughted Magistrate? Absolutely not. However, it's really cool.
yeah, it's like I'm gonna put another consecrated 2 for a consecrated sphinx.
Yeah, that's kind of my problem with the deck is like there's so many cool things I can do with the deck, and it's like I have to resist the temptation. Like when we are practicing the other week, I had to just be like, I have this combo in my hand. I need to get it out of my system. I'd rather do it here than in a tournament. Windfall, and then like just do all this crazy stuff. Like it's been fun. I would rate this a 3 just because it's a 2 cost clone. It only clones your own stuff, but like it it's pretty good. Yeah.
I'm with that. I was looking at it as like copy Tivit, have it die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's 2 to vote for 2 treasures. So,
Yeah, which you can cast off the treasures that you got. Yeah.
so eh, is it better than having time sieve? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I play Tivit too, so
Yeah, I like it.
yeah.
I would say a 3.
Yeah. 3 for Deceptive Frostkite. Voracious Bibliophile. 3 generic blue creature dragon, flying vigilance. Whenever you cast a spell with 1 or more targets, draw that many cards. It's a 3/3. Just generically good. It's 4 for a flying vigilance, 3/3. And when you counter target spell, you draw a card. When you counter whenever you cast a spell with 1 or more targets, draw that many cards. So like let's say there's a huge mind break trap pile and you just have this out and you're like, mind break trap, I'll hit 3 things, which is pretty reasonable. Draw 3 cards when I cast it. Yeah, like I don't care if it resolves. It's pretty good. This is the other card that I kind of saw with the Narset that they printed and the Kieran commander that people run in casual, where I was like, this makes it a little bit more viable. I mean, also just drawing multiple cards off your mind break trap targets is crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, I think this is really good. I think the mana cost is a little high for it. I
yeah.
think that at a 2 or a 3, it would be a really like top tier card. But I mean, wishes and
Yeah,
hopes.
I think it's a really good because I mean, of course, it's no Ristic study, but like if you look at the table and you're like, I know that I'm going to be sheriff. At least if you have like a Ristic study in this out, you're like, I am going to be sheriff, but at least I'm going to replenish my hand. Like every counter spell that I have in my hand, the moment I cast it and count like target something for counter, I get a new card back.
Mm.
This seems stupid. I don't. I'm not gonna give it a 4, but like I want to because again, it's just generically good, but it's like really generically good. Like it does what blue wants to do in CDH.
I'm gonna say 3 solid.
Yeah, I'll give a 3 for it. Voracious Bibliophile, 3 generic blue. I would definitely say, like, if you're gonna pick up some singles and hope that they go up, I would maybe pick this one up. I'm not gonna say it's like Polywog Prodigy or anything like that, but I could see people looking at this and going like, "Oh, that doesn't sound good," and then they go to a tournament and went, "That card carried the game," And like again, like it's a dragon, so if you're a deck that's trying to run Mox Jasper, it also activates your Mox Jasper, which is cool.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's and I do think that there is certain decks that may use this. I think that a 3 is a really solid place for it though.
yeah. I mean, it's 388 in non-foil. Foil is 898. Like, I could see it going up. If you're the type of person, and like, I'm sure everybody has one of these in their pods that were like, that person just wants to play sheriff and then win late game after they've stopped everybody. This is definitely a card that goes in that type of deck.
Yeah. I just worry about the mana cost is the only reason.
Yeah, but I mean, like Tevish Thrasios, you would never think that Tevish would get cast, and he's like out early every single game.
Yeah.
Like
I
the three
see.
generic is really what makes this playable.
Yeah, if it was 2 blue, it would be kind of hard.
Yeah, cool. That's a 3 for Voracious Bibliophile.
I like Bibliophile.
Yeah. Will of the Temur. 5 generic blue sorcery. Choose one. If you control a commander as you cast the spell, you may choose both instead. Create a token that's a copy of target permanent, except it's a 4/4 dragon creature with flying in addition to its other types. Target player draws cards equal to the greatest mana value among permanents you control. So it's 6, and it's a sorcery, but you can make a 4/4 dragon creature copy and then draw cards equal to the greatest mana value among permanents you control. And it's all permanents. So that counts like planeswalkers and all of that.
But just in and of itself, it's a 4, right? Or no, mana.
Because mana value.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, like, most commanders are going to be 3 or 4. It's 6 at a sorcery. That's kind of tough, but I mean, it's good. Like I keep looking at it and I'm just like, this would be great in Hashaton. I'm not gonna make space for a 6-cost sorcery in Hashaton, but like, ooh, like I'm gonna give it a 2 because of that.
That's where I was at with it. Just set it aside. Good to know it's there.
Yeah, I wanted to mention it because like I always try to mention the trap cards where I'm like, this is really good. I want to put it in my deck. However, I'm not because it costs 6 and it's a sorcery. Now we move on to the black cards. Jaws of Defeat. 3 generic black enchantment. When a creature you control enters, target opponent loses life equal to the difference between that creature's power and its toughness. So a couple things with this. 4-cost enchantment, not terrible. Enchantment's pretty hard to remove. We've seen, Ristic Study be a huge problem, and the answer there is just run more enchantment removal, and people are still not doing it. So and instead they're just like, I'll just clone it and I'll also have one, or I'll steal it, or this is good because there's a lot of decks that can loop creatures over and over again where all they can do is loop the creature. They're like, well, what I can do here is I can flicker this creature infinitely, but I don't gain any mana. I don't gain anything by doing it, but I can do it. Yeah.
Is Gravecrawler a 1/2 or is he just a 1/1?
Let me see.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Because it goes back and forth through the graveyard fairly quickly with
It is a 2/1.
so it would ping the table to death.
Yeah. Usually to make that black generic, you're Warren Soul Tradering.
Well, you can use Warrant, but you also use Phyrexian.
You can. Those are really bad though, because they cost 3 and they just sit there. Like in CDH.
I mean, also, well, I mean, it's 4 to win.
So
I mean,
we're talking about 3 mana for that, 4 mana for that, and then like eight mana combo, 3 cards.
Yeah, insta win.
Yeah.
I mean, you should win with 8 mana.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, it is interesting that it's a pseudo type of win con in black.
Yeah. I mean, it is something that you can build up to, too, because you could be like zombie turn 1, Soul Ring, not Ashnod's Altar, Phyrexian Altar, and then use Gravecrawler to make the black to cast Jaws of Defeat. So like you don't have to do it all at once, but
It is a thing.
yeah, like I just know that like there's a lot of combos, especially in white, where you're just like, okay, well, what I can do is I can just keep getting these 2 creatures back over and over and over again. And usually the outlet before was Goblin Bombardment, where like you would sack the creature for 1 damage, the new one would come out, you'd sack that creature would go back and get from the graveyard the creature that you just sacked, which would exile it, and it would just keep doing it. White's really well known for just, yeah, I can, keep trying these creatures out. They don't do anything, but it's pretty cool to see that there's a black-white win con now with just an enchantment that you can put out. And it's also, again, just generically good, because whenever a creature you control enters, target opponent loses life equal to the difference between that creature's power and its toughness. So like if you just want to put this out and like drain the table slowly, you can do that. Probably shouldn't be doing that in CDH, but like if you go for your 1 attempt and somebody stops it, like they swords the creature, you're just like, okay, well, it did enter. You swords it, you get the damage. And then on top of it, I'm just going to try to slowly drain the table for the rest of the game until I can get my next win con.
I think a 3, just because it's a possible win con.
Mm-hmm. If I saw more black white, I'd give it a 4, but I think it's a 3 for me too.
I mean, in black, when like there is win cons in black, but usually because this could be a mono black win con.
I will say I am being a little unfair to it because Sibsig Ceremony and Asarak is just so good, where I was like, this is a 4. If Jaws of Defeat had been printed and not that, and it was a mono black combo, I'd be a little bit more excited for it. So I'm probably not being very fair to it, but yeah, like mono black and a black, add your other color where you can just keep looping the same creature over and over again. It's a win con.
I think the fact that we look at it and I was like, Gravecrawler.
Yeah.
Is it a 1/2 or a 1/1? And you were like, well, it's a 1/2. So
Yeah.
or a 2/1 or whatever it is. Which means insta win if you can just keep re-putting it through. Which, that's where I'm at with it.
Grinning Angus is a 2/2. I was just like, wait a minute. Like,
nah, I mean, there's got to be that loop, and I think it's the reanimate package there that makes it work.
Well, Feldalar Guardian is also like very well known for just being a 1/4 or something like that, and just blah 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 blah, like over and over, where it's like, I'm not really doing anything, but like all of my creatures are ETBing infinitely. Like,
yeah, they all come out and you die from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it. I think it's a solid 3.
Yeah.
I would say a 4, but I think there's better options for 4.
You know what? I'll say a 4 because I really think it's a 3.5. So
really,
yeah,
I'm cool with that too.
It's just the fact, like Ketramos, for example, the thing that's keeping that deck back is it doesn't have a win con, and it's like, this is a win con now. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Tip the scales. 2 generic black sorcery. Sacrifice a creature. When you do, all creatures get -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the sacrifice creature's toughness. So I do want to note a couple things on this. When it resolves, you sacrifice a creature. So you don't have to name the creature. So you're not sacrificing a creature as an additional cost and then just hoping it resolves.
That's good.
I like it. It's no Toxic Deluge, but it's a second Toxic Deluge in Desperation.
I think a 2.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna like just in personally. I think that's where we're at.
So if it was additional costs to cast the spell, sacrifice a creature, I'd give it a 1.
Yeah, for sure.
The fact you can place it on the stack, and then when it resolves, you're like, oh, huh. I guess this one, is a lot less investment. You're definitely not running this over Toxic Deluge.
Not at all.
And for you to lose a creature with Toxic Deluge, that's probably your biggest creature. Um, Toxic Deluge is nice because you're just like, I'm just gonna pay 3. I don't have to have any setup. Board's wiped. Let's start over. This one's a little bit different, but I'd probably give it a 2 or 3.
Yeah, I would say put it aside.
Yeah, I think 2
2.
is fair. Yeah, I can't really think of any deck that wants to run 2 Toxic Deluges, but I mean, we're seeing a lot of Silence creatures coming up in this set, so like, I do think board resets are going to be a little bit more important going forward.
For sure.
So give it a 2 for Tip the Scales. Will of the Abzan. 3 generic black sorcery. Choose 1. If you control a commander as you cast a spell, you may choose both instead. Any number of target opponents each sacrifice a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls and lose 3 life. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Honestly, I don't even care about that first effect. Like it's a good also effect if you control your commander, but 4 to return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield isn't terrible as a sorcery. That being said, I'm gonna give this a 2.
I was with 2.
Yeah.
I was all over the 2. I was like, it's better than 1. It's not as great as 3. It's right in there.
I do like that's any number of target opponents. So you could be like, hey, you with a counter spell, I won't target you. You don't have to sacrifice anything. I just want to put these 2 guys behind to get a creature. Are we cool with that? And if they say yeah, then you're like, all right, cool. I'll keep that. Yeah, like it has some good politics. And then 4 to just return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Like, you're only running this in a Reanimator style deck. So like, you need these effects. Do you need a 4-cost sorcery effect of that? Probably not, but I mean it's still a reanimate effect.
It's an option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 for Will of the Abzan. So this I think we talked about the other day, and I didn't know what card you were talking about, and now I know it. Within range, 3 generic black enchantment. When this enchantment enters, create 2 1/1 red warrior creature tokens. Whenever you attack, each opponent loses life equal to the number of creatures attacking them. So you're talking about this in Najila as just a like, I'm just gonna put this out and it will eventually end the game if attacking with Najila and going infinite combats doesn't.
I like this.
Yeah. It's a good slow grind plan.
This set is really weird, and I don't want you guys like yelling at me in the comments, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to force of will this one, just because.
Yeah.
I think that this is solid all the way around.
So you'd give it a 5. Yeah, I know.
Would Najila have to run this? I don't know.
I think Najila would really like it. I also think Blue Farm would really like it. I'm personally going to give it a 4. Just because it's, again, generically good, but where it's good, it's really, really good.
So, and again, this set, the commander cards are kind of lackluster. Like, I can't think of one off the top of my head like I could in the first part of this series.
I have a Force of Will set for another card in this set, but it'll take some explanation.
This isn't really any explanation here, and if you've already got yours picked,
yeah,
I'm probably gonna like that one as well. I'm gonna say that this is my Force of Will. I think that it could go. I think that Najila may want it.
I think it's really good in Blue Farm.
I think that this is pretty decent in Blue Farm too.
Yeah.
The mana cost is not very great, and this is one of the ones where I'm like, does it win the game eventually?
If it was 2, no question, 5 of 5. If it was 3, I would understand it. for certain decks. 4 is where I'm kind of like, I wouldn't give this a 5. I'd give it a 4.
Yeah, my thoughts are also that this is kind of slim pickings
Yeah.
through
I'm also
this.
not going to give mine a 5 that I would use Force of Will.
I'm gonna force of will it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm force of will in this one. I think that it's if you're looking at casual win con, this is way up there.
Yeah.
I think
And I mean, like, there, especially when you get to the final rounds, a lot of those are just going to be grind sessions where you're like, I need a grind plan. I would like to win with a combo, but like, we're all here because we're good. So a grind plan might work out. Yeah.
yeah, I've had 4 hour 4 hour final tables,
Well,
which I won.
just one.
Oh, well, I've had a 4 hour. Yeah, there we go. This I'm gonna say force of will. Do I think it's the best force of will we've ever force of willed? Of course not.
Yeah.
Like this could not even be force of willed,
Yeah.
but it's interesting.
So within range, Force of Will for Gaming Ghost.
I was really excited to see it for Najila though.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, this is crazy. Because I swing at you and then still hit everybody else.
And it's when you declare the attack, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So I don't even care if it goes through.
Yeah, we'll just keep swinging.
Calderia Pyramaw. 3 generic, red. Creature dragon. Flying. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Then this creature deals damage equal to its power to target opponent. It's a 3/3. For 5, this is a little tough. However, if you're an Izzet and your plan is, I'm just going to sheriff the entire game and try to get my win con out, my very specific win con out in Izzet, it's a good option because at the very least, you're growing this giant dragon, and every time somebody puts something on the stack and you have a counter spell, you're just like, okay, well, I'm going to counter that. You take 6 damage.
I mean, this is a win con for Krakashima with
Yeah. I mean, also Brain Freeze. But I mean, Brain Freeze itself is going to be an outlet. But
I mean, just with Gitexian Probe, this will probably win you the game.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
I could have forced a willed this one too, but I think the Najila one was probably better.
Yeah, this one is hard. I mean, even in that deck, like 5 for a dragon, like you'll get there with Jessica's Will, but like,
meh.
It's pretty late when you're trying to win through that. And I mean, it is nice for like those discussions of like you're in the last round and somebody's just like, well, he doesn't have a path to victory. So like, do we wait an hour for him to take his turn, or like, do we just call it here? Because a lot of them have said like, if you go over, you get 10 minutes. And if you can't win in that 10 minutes, like we're not going to wait an hour. This is a very clear, like,
this wins.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I have this. I have the mana cast it. I'll cast it. I can diddle a lot, but at the end of the day, I'm going to keep growing it. And I'm just going to kill everybody with it.
What? I mean, you cast a spell, it goes to your hand, you do 3 damage.
Yeah.
You take 2. Let's say you're just paying life for Gitexian. You do it again, it does 4 damage. Do it again.
Yeah.
You'll definitely kill 2 to 3 people easy.
The other thing that's very relevant is it's the creature that deals damage, so you can give it lifelink. You can give
that would be
it
stupid.
poison. Like if somebody has Angel's Graced, you can just be like, okay, well, I'm not gonna kill you guys like this, so I'm gonna give you a ton of poison counters now, and then whenever I pass, you'll all lose in my cleanup step.
Okay, you'll just die.
I mean, is poison infect viable in CDH? No, not really, but I mean, it's cool.
I would say a 3, just because I don't know if this is better than some of the tech that's in Krakashima.
Yeah, it's a cool option, but I think it's a 3 as well.
Yeah, with that.
Parpet Thrasher, 2 generic, red, creature dragon. Flying. Whenever one or more dragons you control deal combat damage to an opponent, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Destroy target artifact that opponent controls. This creature deals 4 damage to each other opponent. Exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. This is just cool. I mean, it's 4, and it has to be whenever dragons deal combat damage to an opponent. But if you can give this myriad, which we've seen a lot of ways to do that, every opponent loses an artifact, or every opponent loses 4, 8, 12 life, or you exile the top card of your library. That card that we're looking at that gives a creature myriad, this would be a good outlet for it, because it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna give my Parpet Thrasher myriad. It's gonna fly to everybody. Everybody loses an artifact that I decide. You know. That being said, I almost want to give it a 1. It's cool, but
I mean, yeah, it's probably 1.
yeah,
I'm not even gonna try to argue it up.
yeah. Parpet Thrasher is a 1. Redoubled Storm Singer, 2 generic, red creature orc wizard. First strike, whenever this creature attacks, for each creature token you control that entered this turn, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of that token. At the beginning of the next end step, sacrifice those tokens. It's a 3/3. I'm gonna cut right to it. This is an Atali card. Like, we already had Renonia, the one that whenever you move to combat, for each spell you cast, instant or sorcery,
Copies it all.
yeah. She herself is a CDH commander. Not many people run her because it's mono red, but like, she can get really stupid just by herself. And now there's basically a second one that it doesn't even really care. As far as I believe, the ruling on, I need to see a ruling, but I don't even think that it cares that the token's still there. So it says whenever this creature attacks, for each creature token you control that entered this turn, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of that token. So I think it could come in and then be sacked. And then when you move to combat, because it entered that turn, you'd get a new one.
This token is copy.
Oh, wait, no. For each creature token you control. So you wouldn't control it anymore. So you'd have to control it whenever it attacks. Yeah.
I see this being on the field with Rionia,
Yeah.
and you trigger it to where Rionia hits first, and then this hits second.
Yeah.
Or the effects resolve second. And it's win more.
Yeah. I mean, and unfortunately with Atali, like, you have to have those backup plans, because if you whiff on your ETB, then you're just like, ah, man, like, I gotta recover this, you know?
I mean, I think 3, and that's only for Atali.
So if this was a legendary card, it would be a commander, 100%.
Oh yeah.
I think it has a lot of potential. I do see it in certain decks, so I will give it a 3, but it's not a like overperformer.
No, it's just, hey, did you hear about this one?
Yeah.
This one can do that as well. And you'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, I did not know that this card existed. Let me see if I have one.
I do
that's
think
where
that
I'm
we
at.
will see people try mono red Rionia, though, just because this card was printed.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
I should give it a 4, but I'm going to give it a 3.
But Rionia isn't really...
So Comedian plays her from time to time, but I mean...
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a hard a hard color combo to
But
be by itself.
yeah, and I was like, it's not even a combo. It's one color. Red is probably the weakest CDH color, unfortunately.
And even with this doesn't game change it. This just kind of puts it there.
Yeah, it pushes it from winning on turn 4 to winning on turn 3, maybe. You know. But yeah, I'll give it a 3 for redoubled Storm Singer.
Yeah, 3 for sure.
Thundermane Dragon, 3 generic and a red, flying. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast creature spells with power 4 or greater from the top of your library. If you cast a creature spell this way, it gains haste until end of turn. It's a 4/4. That's dumb. Like, it's really only dumb in red green, because you are probably worldly tutoring something to the top, and then when it's on the top, flipping it and going, okay, well, this is power 4 or greater. I'm going to cast it. And now it has haste.
Swing.
It opens up a lot of potential with those cards that need to attack or need to like deal combat damage to get a crazy effect. I mean, it also gets you instant Emrakul if you can cast it, like, and then gives it haste, which is like an Eldrazi, a haste Eldrazi, like, ugh. Uh, it's good. It's generically good. I think 4 for this effect, like, you should be kind of winning the game. And then, you know, what deck is really running for 4 greater creatures to where you really want to combo this out. And unfortunately, like, you can't put your commander on top of your deck and then give it haste. So it's a good 99 card. I mean, I feel like I keep saying this. It's a generically good 99 card. I'd give it a 2 because
I was right there.
yeah.
I was looking at 2. I was like, if he says more than that, I don't think I'm going any higher. I think 2 is where it's at.
It enables certain combos, but I don't think those combos are good enough for CDH to be like, I'm running this. Yeah.
I'm with it. 2 is solid for this. I don't think anybody's going to complain.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to be like, that should be lower.
Will of the Jeskai. So this is going to be my Force of Will. It's 3 generic and a red. Sorcery. Choose one. If you control a commander as you cast the spell, you may choose both instead. Each player may discard their hand and draw 5 cards. Each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. This might not seem all that crazy, but the fact that you can, in red, burn through your hand and then cast this, and then discard your hand and draw up to 5, and then every instant or sorcery card that you cast this turn or you discarded gains flashback and you get access to it. In red, you have a lot of like rituals. So you're probably just ritualing up to Will of the Jeskai, dropping Will of the Jeskai, ritualing back up to something else. Like it's kind of crazy. It's very, you can do a lot of things with it. Does it blow any deck into CDH? Does it blow any deck out of the water? No. It's really good though. It's no Jessica's Will, I will say.
It'd be good with Jessica's Will.
But it'd be great. I can't tell you how many times I've cast Jessica's Will and just been like, I don't have anything to do with this mana that I'm getting, but maybe I'll exile 3 things off the top of my deck and like maybe I can do something with them there. And if I would hit this off Jessica's Will, like, we're going. Like, heck yeah. You know?
And then you could just do Jessica's Will again.
Yeah. It's got a lot of value potential. Like it's really hard to look at one of these cards and go like, this is my Force of Will. I think out of the set, we will see this more than we see anything else.
I think so.
Does it go in Blue Farm? I don't really know. The thing that limits it is it's red.
I mean, it's also 4.
It is also like the epitome of what you want red to do. Like replace your hand and then give things flashback in your graveyard.
Do I give you the choice to discard your hand?
Each player may.
So
somebody else can just be like, I'm actually behind and I really want this to resolve. So like I'm gonna help, get this.
I want my 4 cards.
Yeah.
Or 5 cards.
Yeah.
Each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until the end of turn. Is that time stamped? So as this resolves, you can't do it again?
Each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback. The flashback cost is equal to. I think you can cast this again.
Because it says in the graveyard, and as this is cast, as it resolves, I don't think it'll be in the grave.
It's as it's resolving, it would be in the grave because once it resolves, it goes from the stack to the grave.
Okay. But no newer cards would be flashbacked. Does that make sense?
I think it's just a new passive rule that each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn, because it's not targeting the instants or sorceries.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, okay. All right. I mean,
it has potential. What does it explode away? I don't really know.
yeah, no. That's cool. I like it. I think it's definitely a 4.
Yeah, it's a 4, but I mostly wanted to just be like this. If I only had to get one card in this set and no price is not a consideration, this is the best one in the set for me. Cool. All right, next card. Floral Evoker. 2 generic green. Whenever a land you control enters, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Green, discard a creature card. Return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Generically good. I'd give it a 2.
I'm with 2 on that. Yeah.
There's not a lot of landfall in CDH, but the more we see these cards printed, the more it's possible. I know that a lot of Corvold players are moving to land destruction, sacrifice, land stuff. And then we also have seen that big giant green cocaine bear was what they referred to as.
I like cocaine bear. He's funny.
Yeah. And I mean, like, you can pay 3, and then if you have a creature that you want to discard, immediately discard it. So you don't even have to wait. So I'd give this 3. Where it goes, I don't really know, but it's good.
Yeah, I'm right around a 3 with it, or a 2. I'd say 2.
I think 2 is probably where it should be. So 2.5 feels good. I think we're gonna start seeing more landfall stuff, because lands are really good. You can't stop a land, so it gets good value. But the more we see, the better it'll be.
Yeah, I think a 2 is solid for that.
And we also have this, which I almost forcibly so that was 2.5 for Floral Evoker. Steward of the Harvest. Really good. 3 generic green. Creature, human druid. When this creature enters, exile up to 3 target land cards from your graveyard. Creatures you control have all activated abilities of land cards exiled with this creature. So if you just like don't want to have friends anymore, you can exile a strip mine from your graveyard, and all of your creatures are just tap, destroy target land.
Oh my god.
Yeah. For people that cannot see Gaming Ghost, he put his head in his hand and started rubbing his forehead.
So I played a tournament where they two people at the table, on the final table, were using
I was there.
Gaia's
Yeah.
Cradle, and then the enchantment that turns into Gaia's Cradle.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
So
The Jurassic Park one.
Yeah. So let's say I get rid of your land. If it's not exiled, all of my creatures are now Gaia's Cradles.
Well, like if you're playing blue green, every creature you have is a Monamo, where you're just like, okay, well, every creature that I have for green will untap Gaia's Cradle.
Jeez. That's so silly.
Yeah, I do not think that the game will get to the point where this will be as stupid, but like sometimes the game gets there where you're just like, okay, well, we're here. All of my creatures are strip mines. All of my creatures are Monamos. All of my creatures are the new blue land that if I pay a blue and tap it, target my next spell is uncounterable. Like it's stupid.
Creatures you control have all activated. Whenever this enters, exile up to 3 land from your. Okay, so it's only your graveyard. That's really good.
Yeah, but you're in green, so you're crop rotationing, and like you could also sack E-Zone and get flash for the turn, and then all of your creatures for the rest of the game while the Steward of Harvest is out just give you flash for like just I think it's just a tap, like or a
It's silly.
colorless and a tap. Yeah, it's silly. I like when cards are printed like this because it's like by the time that this really goes silly, the game should have been won anyway. But like with the amount of silence creatures that we're seeing printed, maybe the games go a little bit longer. So like you need things like Steward of the Harvest to really go like, okay, this game is out of control. Like my creatures are stupid now. Like can we tie? No. Okay. Well, no one has any lands anymore. Like pass. Oh, is it my turn again? Like
Yeah, we're gonna continue playing. Yeah, no, I feel like there's a big combo here with Gaia's Cradle.
mhm.
Um,
Well, I mean, also like you could just turn them into sack lands and be like, yeah, I'll sack my my mana dork to go get a actual land. Yeah.
yeah, go get all your lands that you need.
And then every single one of those now went like landfall. So like,
That's so
yeah,
silly.
it's dumb. Like, cause like, all right, I sack my creature, I go get a land. Lotus Cobra gives me a color. Sack my creature, get a land. Lotus Cobra gives me a color.
It has all land cards exiled with this. Whatever the creature exile target land cards, 3 targets. So
Yeah.
they could have 3 different.
Yeah.
What the
Yeah.
hell?
So it's not just like exile strip mine. It's I can do all of them.
It's like, oh no, I have Gaia's Cradle and Manamo and Strip Mine.
Yeah. Now, Guy's Cradle, I would not want it in my graveyard ever. Like if a Guy's Cradle is in my graveyard, I've probably lost the game at that point.
Not with this.
But not with this. And then also like imagine that you have a way to blink a creature and you have Tyvar out, where it's like, okay, every time I blink this creature, it's a Guy's Cradle. Tap, 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 tap. Like it makes a meal stupid, you know?
It's infinite mana.
Yeah.
It's this is a lot. Like this is another combo that gives you infinite mana and green if you have the lands.
Yeah. I almost Force of Will. It's just it's not by the time this is good,
You've already won.
game is already like too far gone. Yeah.
I mean, I think this is better than the one I Force of Will, but
Oh, I absolutely want to pull this card. Like I'd give it a 4.
I'm with a 4.
Yeah.
I mean, in mono green decks, this is a great option.
I mean, in Cocaine Bear, any land shenanigan deck, it's amazing. And then even in lands that aren't land shenanigans, like just having each of your creatures untap your Guy's Cradle for blue or untap your Ring for blue is stupid. Yeah, like,
3 cards. Yeah, I like this one.
yeah. You give it a 4 as well?
Yeah, 4 is solid.
Cool. Will of the Sultai. 4 generic green sorcery. Choose one. If you control a commander as you cast the spell, you may choose both instead. I put all of these in here just because I know
They're good.
they're good in commander. I thought all of them were worth talking about. So just a reminder: 4 generic and green. Target player mills 3 cards. Return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Put X 1/1 counters on target creature, where X is the number of lands you control. It gains trample until end of turn. Like the amount of sack lands that we have, by the time you get to 5, you're probably putting like 3 or 4 lands back onto the battlefield. Now tapped, which I mean tapped really doesn't mean much in Commander. I mean if you've ever played Get Rog, you know like there's several cards that just let permanents come in untapped, like
The turtle.
Amulet, Turtle. There's a another artifact that does it that I think costs 2 or 3. There's the Tiller artifact creature that does it for lands. Like just lots of options. You have to set those options up, but again, this is 5, so you probably have one of those options by the time you cast it. There's also that enchantment that we got out of Ixalan. I always forget the name because I've only seen it in Cocaine Bear, but it just lets lands come in untapped.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of that one.
And then this also mills cards, so you could hit lands when you mill them.
I mean, 5 to do it is quite a bit. But,
It is, but 4 generic.
But I mean, it is in general. It'll get you back at least a few mana.
Mm-hmm. And it is one of those things where it's just like on the turn that you have 5 mana to cast this, have you milled that many lands? Probably not if you're turboing it out. And then if it's late game, like why with your last turn of the game are you casting a 5 cost sorcery and just getting your lands back and just going like pass?
Silly.
I'd give it a 2. I could see certain decks really liking this, but it doesn't really break the game. It's a really good effect in green, but I still, for CDH, I think I have to give it a 2.
Yeah, I think put it aside, put it up somewhere you might want to know where it's at later.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2 is where I'm at with it too.
I believe this is our last one. It is
5.
5, and we're done. No, Colossal Grave Reaver, 6 generic black green. Flying, when this creature enters or attacks, mill 3 cards. Whenever one or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from your library, put one of them onto the battlefield. It's a 7/6. This is stupid. Like, I really wish it was just black. If I could have this in Hashaton, like, it'd be over. Like, unfortunately, it's Golgari, which I do believe Golgari deserves this card. But if it was in black, Golgari would get it too. So why can't they share?
This is be silly.
We have a friend that plays Sign of the Ur Dragon. He's like, Sign of the Ur Dragon is CDH, and like started telling me the combo, and I didn't really get it. But I mean, it sounds just very generically good on its own. With Sign of the Ur Dragon, I am glad that those players have something to make the deck a lot better, because like if you guys know anybody or you play Sound of the Ur Dragon, like those people love that card. Like they love that deck.
I was at the local game shop when this card was revealed,
Oh yeah.
and our mutual friend that plays Scion of the Ur Dragon was sitting in the corner. Like he came out of the room and he was like, "This is it."
Yeah. Yeah.
Just mind blown.
Yeah.
He showed me the card. He was like, "Do you get it?" And I was like, "No."
And this was at like what, 1 a.m.?
Yeah, it was like 1 in the morning.
And I saw him at 8 a.m. and he was still just, what you do is you do this, you get infinite treasures, you get infinite tap dragon, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, whoa, okay. Like,
But he like came in, said everything, came from another room, told us all about it, and then just like plopped down at a table and started like trying to build the stack with his hands. So he was like, if this comes in, then this goes on top, and then this.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him and I'm like, are you okay?
Yeah.
He's like, mind blown.
I mean,
I was like, okay, man.
this card is just good. Like it's a good reanimation target, and then after you reanimate it, you just don't need to reanimate for the rest of the game. Like you could get this out and then entomb the biggest stupidest thing you could think of, and you just put it from your graveyard, and put it on the battlefield. You don't cast it. It just goes from your library to the graveyard, and then you put it from the graveyard to the battlefield.
I want to say how he was kind of explaining it, and I don't know it per se, but with Scion, if you activate him, you go and get the card and put it to the graveyard,
Yeah.
and then it becomes.
Yeah.
So on the stack, you create this one first.
Yeah. And then
you just you just stack it up to where like you get was it the gold dragon, whichever one gives you treasures.
Yeah.
And then you just go from there. Well, I was like, that's silly.
Imagine you have a Colossal Grave Reaver on the battlefield, and then you intuition. And you're just like, okay, I got 3 big nasties. You're going to put one of them in my hand, and the other 2 are going to go into my graveyard. And intuition counts as from the library to the graveyard. So you would just be like, I'm getting one to my hand, and one of them is going on the field. So you guys choose. Like,
yeah, you figure it out.
So it's like, do you want Jenga Taxes to go to my hand? The other 2, I get to choose one of them, and I just put them out.
Oh man, I thought this was just dragons.
Yeah, no, it's just whatever.
Just cards.
Yeah, when one or more. Yeah, if you mill it, like whenever this creature enters or attacks. So like you could potentially cast this, or reanimate it, and then you mill 3 cards, and one of those cards is a big chunky boy, and then immediately, just because it entered the battlefield, you get another big chunky boy, and then you can entomb. Yeah,
Well, you can. So you scion this worldly tutor, put it
yeah,
in there, put it back. Like I see it.
yeah.
It's silly.
Oh, it's silly without Scion. Like Scion just opens a new level of like, what? Like this is one of the cards that, like, when it got spoiled, I was just like, do they QA these things? Like, what? Who looked at that and went, yeah, that's
It's
cool for 8. Yeah,
it's 8
like,
because you could reanimate it
yeah,
too.
it doesn't, like, the cost doesn't really matter. Yeah,
Entomb, reanimate, worldly tutor.
yeah,
Like that's silly, man.
yeah. I mean, like, I run
I thought
3 different reanimate effects in Hashton, and like, I mean, you've played me a couple times. Like, there's never a point where I don't have that option. Usually, yeah,
I mean this is specific. Like there's better win cons in other colors, but this is silly too. Like this is if you're doing Galgari combo colors, you could really do some stupid things with this.
the fact that this enables itself by when it enters milling 3 cards is like, they didn't have to do that, but they did. Yeah,
But they did. Yeah. I think they were like the cost is worth it. Like I think, 8 to do this.
I mean, there's some creatures that have like, whenever this card enters, if it wasn't cast, sacrifice this creature. You know,
I mean,
and they didn't do that here.
it's also not legendary.
Yeah, it's dumb.
I mean,
If we're talking about a myriad, target, here
this is
you
it.
go. Yeah,
This is it. Have a bunch of dragons, have a bunch of weird things come out. Have fun.
yeah.
Because I still, like, even just now, I was like, a bunch of dragons, but this is cards.
Well, and
This is
like,
creatures.
the other thing is, it's also green. So that one spell that's like, cost 4, sacrifice a green creature, go get a green creature from your library and put it onto the battlefield. Goes and gets this.
Are you talking about
I keep wanting to say greater good. It's not greater good.
no, it's I wanted to say Sarah's Ascent, not Sarah's
It's like
Ascent.
nature something.
No, I can see it. It's got like a little
Yeah.
golem in it. Oh man, Ascendancy? No.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, I can't think of what it's called. But I mean, it's crazy that it just does what it wants to do.
Oh, it is natural order.
Natural order.
As an initial cost to cast this, sacrifice green creature. Search your library for a green creature card. Put it onto the battlefield.
Oh, so you just sack any green creature.
Yeah.
I was thinking the one that's like one or more up. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah. Eldritch Evolution.
evolution.
Yeah. But I mean, you'd have to sack a 6 cost for that. This is just like, oh yeah, I have a mana dork on field. Tap it for green. Use that to pay natural order. I'll go get this big giant dude, and I'll have a black left over to entomb, and I'll go get this other giant dude.
That's so silly.
Yeah,
Entomb gets it straight to the battlefield too. Huh?
Yeah. So, well, yes, straight from the library to the graveyard, and then straight from the graveyard to the battlefield.
It's like Entomb is now. Let me go put this on the battlefield.
Yeah. It's dumb. It'll be one of those really stupid casual cards that I think like some people might just be like, if you're playing Colossal Grave Reaver, don't sit down with me. You know, like,
I mean, I like those cards to be honest.
Yeah.
Like anything that makes another deck better to where it could be viable,
yeah,
I'm with it. This really opens Scion, I think, to
Yeah.
do some really crazy stuff.
I'll give it a 4 because I know Scion is going to use it, and Scion's not really like a huge thing right now, but I mean also Tiamat is probably going to be a big thing, and then Scion might be big with Dracogenesis and all the dragon stuff. So the fact that it pulls a beloved casual commander up to CDH makes me really happy. So it's a 4.
I'm I want to do a 5. The only issue with this is that it's kind of specific to.
I mean, it would go in every Golgari deck, really. Like,
Yeah, but Golgari is not real. Like you're not really gonna see just
well, yeah.
Golgari.
I guess it wouldn't go in like TNT.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I mean, it could. You could do some shenanigans, but you're gonna want something with a huge payoff.
Yeah.
I think 4 is right. I think it'll go in every sign of the Ur Dragon.
Yeah. I agree with
sure.
the 4 as well.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Oh, cool. And then there's Deadpool again. So we're
Force of Will,
done.
Deadpool.
Yeah. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much. I am a little bit brain dead because there was a lot of thinking with these cards. But thank you guys so much for listening, and we will be back again in 2 weeks. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, check out our link tree, and use our affiliate links.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.